Good afternoon. When I introduced my reform plan, I was talking about a government for Jacksonville's future. It starts with a good foundation that can only be built on a talented, experienced personnel and strategic hiring decisions. I'm committed to hiring the best and the brightest minds to deliver the most value for our taxpayer dollars. Today I'm announcing 5 appointments that hold the commitment that I laid out during the course of the last several months. First, we'll have Alvin Brown will serve as my Director of Planning. Cole Cartledge will serve as my Director of Intergovernmental Affairs. Renee Finley will serve as the first Commissioner to my Office of Public-Private Partnership. This is a position that's costing us only $1. She's coming on as an executive on loan. Betsy Santiago will serve as a special assistant working in outreach and advising the mayor on policy on business. Jack Shadd will come on board as a community planner. I'm confident he will prove himself invaluable as my administration works on a plan to revitalize downtown. These selections were made after my inquiries and much deliberation. This announcement is a part of the team that will take Jacksonville to the next level. Mr. Burney has more than 3 decades of experience working in planning and development in our region. As President and CEO of Transportation Planning Group Incorporated, he has overseen numerous projects aimed at controlling traffic, growing our city responsibly. Mr. Burney will be an asset as our planning director. Mr. Cartledge has a wide range of military and private sector experience, most recently as senior legal advisor for the U.S. Army. His experience ranges from dispute resolution to fraud investigation and legislative relations. His experience will make him absolutely indispensable as we look for ways to trim costs and do more with less. Mrs. Finley is coming to us on loan from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida, where she has worked as Vice President of Corporate and Market Strategy. In 2008, she was recognized as United Way's Campaign Chair of the Year for her leadership in Northeast Florida. That's exactly the type of fundraising experience and community involvement I wanted out of this position, and I'm happy to have her on board. This is a new initiative and one that I feel strongly important about. When I worked under President Clinton, I took the similar role. I took $4 billion of investment and leveraged it into $10 billion with the help of private enterprise. We are a city where philanthropics, business leaders, and all have relied on each other to improve the quality of life, to help us save our junior ROTC program, to save the light parade. And this position is full-time. Ms. Santiago, background is in real estate, but most people will recognize her as a leader of the First Coast Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Since 2004, she has led the effort to boost business profiles for numerous entrepreneurs. She coordinated volunteers and spearheaded fundraising efforts to provide scholarships for qualified students. Mr. Shadd will be working with Mr. Burney as a community planner. He has an extensive experience as a project manager. He worked with historic properties. He served on the zoning committee. He brings a lot to the table that will give us the keen insight into how to revitalize our urban center. Jacksonville deserves the absolute best people on the payroll looking out for the good of the community. Each of these folks have a stellar track record, and we're lucky to be adding them to the team. At this point, I'll take a few questions. And let's give them a hand for joining the team.
Are all these positions full-time?
Yes.
And is today the first day on the job, or have they been at work?
First day showing up. First day at the bat.
So how quickly do you expect a return on your investment?
Right now.
Ms. Finley is the only executive on loan?
Pardon me?
Ms. Finley is the only executive on loan?
Yes.
How does this fit in with the total makeup of your team?
It's what I talked about. It's, bringing the best and the brightest. Obviously, my top priorities, making sure that we streamline government, operate more effectively and efficiently, making sure that taxpayers get a return on their investment in providing better service, and that's why we have Cole. Cartledge is going to do the intergovernmental piece for us. Betsy San Diego, she was the head of Hispanic. I want to make sure we support small business and entrepreneurs, which is important. As head of the chamber, I think that's good. Ms. Finley has a proven track record on working in a community, and focusing on public-private partnership is the key. Calvin Brown knows planning. He understands city government, and so does Shad. So I think taking the best and the brightest that our city has to offer is going to be an asset to our community.
Mr. Shad will report to Mr. Burney. It sounds, just from reading his background, you see him focusing on downtown in particular. What type of things do you see that job doing?
Well, I think it's important to continue to lay the foundation on the priorities. We want to make sure that as we move forward in our reform plan, that downtown will have a focus, where we'll have a dedicated agency to focus on downtown and make sure we leverage our assets downtown, since the city already invested $1.2 billion in downtown. The goal is to make sure that we have a vibrant downtown, that we support entrepreneurs downtown, that we have a downtown that is second to none for economic development. And I think Shad would lend his expertise to that.
Given today's budgetary scenario, are these guys, along with the rest of your team, going to be able to squeeze every penny out of the dollar?
I think by working together, we'll make sure that taxpayers get a return on their investment, that we'll leverage our scarce resources, and that we'll work together as a team to implement the vision that I laid out and that the citizens demand. But we know we can't cut our way out of this. We have to grow jobs, and so by taking a holistic approach on reforming city government, but also looking to the future to make sure that we can compete in the global economy, so that people know that we're open for business, and that if they want to expand their company here, relocate their company here, that Jacksonville is the place to be. And we also want people to know that we want to be competitive, and we want to do it now.
Any particular public-private partnerships that you have on the table that you're working on already?
Well, we're doing things right now. A good example is CSX. We applied for the Taggart grant. We work with CSX. Why CSX? Well, CSX is headquartered right here in our great city. It's a private sector company. They have the expertise with transportation. They have the experience applying for a Taggart grant. They provided the resources to hire the consultants to work with Paul Anderson, with the port, CEO with the port, with the state and the city. So that's a classic example. The Light Parade is another classic example that we just did, but CSX is a classic example. And Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I love Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They epitomize what community investment is all about. Literally, they put up to $60,000 to support the Office of Education. Now we have one of their top executives to serve as the first Commissioner for Public-Private Partnership, which is an executive on loan, which shows their commitment to this community. And the ability to work with the other private sector companies is going to be key, and I'm very excited about it.
How soon until we see more appointments?
Well, we're going as we, soon. I'm making sure that we're doing this in a very orderly way, in a very strategic way. We're reaching out, talking to people, making sure we have the best and the brightest. And the good news is there are a lot of people who are willing to serve in government who are in the private sector. And we have a lot of talented people out there who love this city, who care about this city, believe in this city, believe in the idea that we can take Jacksonville to the next level, put people back to work, and improve our education system, making sure that we have a strong downtown. And so we're fortunate to have all these individuals who've agreed to serve.
Can you say how many more appointments you expect to make down the road?
Oh, we'll make several more appointments down the road, and you'll know about them. You know how the mayor's been operating, very strategic, thoroughly, focus like a laser on bringing the best and the brightest individuals who are willing to serve our city.
Mayor, Mrs. Finley is only going to take a salary of $1, but how big is the office that she's going to oversee going to be? How many other people support?
Well, we'll have a couple of people who will be paid by the private sector to support our initiative. It'll be the same setup as the Commissioner of Education. You know, we'll have one person to make sure that we execute and implement and leverage our opportunities. And there's a lot of excitement out there.
Where's the money for those people going to come from?
Private sector.
Specifically.
Well, the private sector.
Those positions that you are paying for, the city's paying for right now, are they about the same amount as the other appointees?
Yeah, they'll be about the same. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Or is there any savings in some positions where they
We'll see.
take a...
We'll see. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's give them a hand for joining the